Guys, I know you are enjoying our show, but just a quick second, I want you guys to subscribe to our Patreon and continue to support us, because the more support we have, the more cool things we can do. Now, we have two different tiers. We have a $5 tier and a $15 tier. The $5 tier guarantees you a bi-monthly edition of Orange Phoenix magazine, where we cover all things of geekdom, whether it's anime, manga, pro wrestling, comics, cosplay, you name it, we nerd it. That is our slogan. Now, you might be asking yourself, what about the other months? Well, monthly, you get entered into a giveaway drawing. So if your name gets pulled in the drawing, you get some of the cool stuff that we buy from these conventions from the past, the present, and in the future. We talking figurines, we talking Blu-ray DVD sets that's typically not aired on any streaming service. We talking various forms of artwork, because we know when you go in that deal's room and you go in that artist alley, you want to buy so much things and you got a budget. But say you might not be able to get the things that's outside of your budget. We may have those things. So you get entered into those drawings and you have a chance to win those cool things. Now, the $15 tier. The $15 tier, you are guaranteed the bi-monthly edition of Orange Phoenix magazine. You are automatically entered into the giveaway drawing. Plus, you get early access to all of our videos before it gets aired on YouTube. You got it? All of our videos air before YouTube. Tendency to be 24 to 48 hours before, and also any private videos be sent straight to you guys. So we're talking both videos early access and videos that is never going to air on YouTube. You will have access to that as well as all of our past editions of Orange Phoenix magazine. That is the $15 tier. So please continue to support us as we continue to grow. And without any further ado, let's get back to our regular scheduled program. Yo, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist, and this is the first edition of Nerd Talk Live of 2024. Man, this week has been unprecedented with so much news in the geekdom world, whether it was pro wrestling or a comics or a gaming. It was unprecedented news. Now, let's start with the pro wrestling news, because honestly, it seems like every day you wake up and you check Twitter and you check other social media outlets, there's something going on, right? So go to one of the most monumental announcements in pro wrestling history, and that is that Monday Night Raw, or Raw, the media rights goes to Netflix as of January 2025. And also, The Rock is on the board of directors of TKO, and he now owns the right to the Rock brand. So WWE no longer owns the Rock brand. So that's great news, right? All that leading up to Royal Rumble, right? Because Royal Rumble is on Saturday, right? This is probably like one of the biggest Royal Rumbles ever in the history of WWE, because now you really don't know who's going to win the Royal Rumble. It's not, because over the past few years, it's been very, very predictable. You kind of know who's going to win the Royal Rumble. You kind of know who's going to face who. But now that you got The Rock, you got Drew McIntyre, you got CM Punk, you got Cody Rhodes, you got Gunther up in the mix, you really don't know who's going to win. Or they may be a wild card in there that might win, and nobody that we thought of that was going to win. So that leaves one of the biggest things, one of the biggest pay-per-views, or PLEs as what they call it, in Royal Rumble history and WWE history, only to be overshadowed on what happened this morning. So woke up this morning, I checked the Twitter feeds, and Vincent Kennedy McMahon has allegations once again, and this time the charges are, even if you can imagine, even greater than what he already been dealing with. And we're talking about sex trafficking. So what is TKO going to do with Vince McMahon at this point? I mean, are they going to like completely oust him at 4 p.m., 6 p.m.? Because I feel like they should have done this a long time ago. Because let's be honest here, WWE in the past has been very adamant about letting people go whenever they have allegations. Excuse me. So whenever they have allegations, they always get released every single time. No investigations, no deep diving, none of that. Enzo Amore, prime example on what's going on. The minute he got allegations, they fired him. Vince McMahon has several allegations. Now, he's no longer CEO of the WWE. He's no longer, steering the ship, as you will, because you got Nick Khan, you got Triple H, and you got those guys running the ship, which in turn boosts morality in the locker room. And all this stuff kind of makes sense now. All the moving and shaking kind of makes sense, because when Vince McMahon came back as CEO, Stephanie stepped away from WWE, which was kind of strange, because once he got these allegations, he was no longer CEO. Stephanie McMahon was CEO. She was interim CEO. And then you had these chants where, thank you, Vince, or whatever, trying to get the crowd into it, because quite honestly, on the professional level of pro wrestling, Vince McMahon has done a lot for the business. But on that personal level, that's going to overshadow everything that he's done. Everything. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, because they was the first to actually break this news, is that the person in question is Jamel Grant. Jamel Grant is a former employee at WWE's headquarters. Grant said McMahon made her sign an NDA agreement about their relationship for an agreed amount of $3 million. However, Grant didn't receive full payment from McMahon and wants to void the agreement with a lawsuit. The lawsuit comes out nearly 2 years after reports McMahon paid upwards of $12 million to 4 women in a 16-year span to quiet allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity. Now, the Wall Street Journal goes on to say that WWE was investigating a secret $3 million settlement to pay to an employee with whom he allegedly had an affair. after which McMahon retired as CEO and chairman of the WWE, and McMahon was subpoenaed by federal agents in August regarding those said payments. Now, Vince goes on, I won't say goes on record, but there are screenshots. These are text messages. We are visually seeing it, and I have read the court documents for the most part, and I'm not going to repeat everything in detail on what's going on, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's some real sick shit that's going on. And Grant was hired by WWE in 2019, and McMahon pushed for a physical relationship in return for a long promised employment at WWE. According to court documents, during her employment, Grant said she was forced into sexual relationship, and McMahon would share explicit photos, videos, and details of her to other WWE employees, as well as coerce her into having sexual relations with other WWE staffers, including John Laurinaitis, who no longer is working with the WWE at this point in time. Now, also, one of the biggest things that came out off of reading these court documents is that Grant had begged the two to stop in a forced threesome. Now, but they continued to assault her. The suit alleges McMahon had also used sex toys named after WWE wrestlers on Grant and defecated on her during one encounter. Now, if you want to go on Twitter and look at the screenshots, and you want to look at the court documents, and you want to read that in splendor, because it is like 61, maybe 67 pages of those court documents, by all means, go do that. By all means, go do that. But I'm not going to sit here and read 60 plus pages of court documents. But what I just read to you is really the main part of it. Vince McMahon has done this. These are the allegations that he's facing. But I'm going to ask WWE to do this. Keep that same energy like you had with these other performers that had these allegations. So when it came down to Enzo Amore, and it came out that it wasn't true, you know, he was already fired. It was already over with. But, excuse me. But looking at this, Vince McMahon has had a steroid lawsuit. He's had these NDA agreements, and the one person you did not pay, and shortly, and the timeline in which you stepped down, this right here is probably the most grave offense out of everything. And it's also in those court documents that other WWE officials knew about the situation, some no longer working there, and Brock Lesnar is also involved, to a point where Vince made her send pictures to Brock Lesnar to coerce him into re-signing with the WWE and everything else in between. So not only Vince McMahon is implicated, you got Brock Lesnar that is implicated. So if you are looking for a Gunther Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania, that might not happen. That might not happen, considering the fact that these allegations are coming out. Because notice, Linda McMahon is nowhere around this situation. Stephanie McMahon has stepped down. Triple H is COO. Nick Khan is the CEO of WWE. Things is kind of running pretty smoothly at this point. Then this news of Vince McMahon comes out. So where do WWE go from here? I'll tell you what it can do, and I said it before. You're going to have to oust him from the WWE. Like, he's no longer affiliated with the WWE. He is, like, unequivocally, severely fumbled the bag. You paid off 4 women, and the 5th one, you did not pay her off. You didn't make your payments. You didn't pay the 5. Since you voided those payments, she letting it all loose. And anything and everything that's known about Vince McMahon is out there for the world to see. Now, of course, you know, I'm a true believer in innocent and proven guilty, but these are some hardcore allegations here. You know what I'm saying? We are at visual evidence. We are seeing it on social media. Vince McMahon has been trending #1 for hours. For hours. And nothing WWE is doing right now today can overshadow what's going on with Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon is synonymous with WWE. When you think of WWE, you think of Vince McMahon. You're not going to think of Nick Khan. You're not going to think of Triple H right out the rip. They just took the job. Vince McMahon has been there for 30 plus years. And Vince McMahon is a wild boy. Now, you know, I have talked to performers and stuff like that about some of the antics that Vince McMahon has. None of the sexual nature, but, you know, just listening to them talk about him, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. And he is getting flambéed. He is getting roasted right now on social media. And these court documents is very, very severe. And if you're looking for a documentary series on Vince McMahon, on his rise in WWE and everything else in between, or Hall of Fame induction for Vince McMahon, it don't look that way now. It don't look, the cards, it's not in the cards. You know, even Netflix, if you're going to do a documentary on Vince McMahon, it got to be like balls to the wall. They got to be real and in living color. Everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, especially the ugly. And if or when this come out to be true, it is over and done with. Over and done with. And now, to the people on social media, I would highly encourage you to do this. Please do not make this an AEW versus WWE thing. This is a Vince McMahon thing. And as much as also I see on social media, like, why she didn't say anything before? Because, bitch, she got an NDA. You got an NDA agreement. He voided the NDA agreement at this point. Or why she didn't say anything sooner? Okay. When you got someone like Vince McMahon, a billionaire who owns a colossal wrestling company that's had a monopoly over the wrestling business for 20 years, and you see the stuff that he deals with, and you see how he overcomes those things, it's almost like he's invincible. It's almost like no matter what this young lady would have said at that point in time, nothing was to happen, because he has an army of lawyers, right? What can she do against someone like that who has an army of lawyers that can make this go away? That's the position that she was in that point. That's a scary position to be in, because you're going to feel helpless. You're going to feel like no one is going to listen to you. And at this point that Vince McMahon is no longer chairman of WWE, John Laurinaitis is no longer with the WWE, all these people that had his back is no longer in the WWE or on their way out. This is the perfect opportunity. Strike where the irons is hot. Now I can take your ass down. Now I got these text messages. Now I got these court documents. Now I'm gonna rake your ass through the coals, because that's what you did to me. And if I was Janelle Grant, I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. And no one on social media should blame Janelle Grant on what she's doing. It's not looking for money, because at this point, she wasn't getting it. Vince McMahon, if it comes out to be true, it's over. But signs are pointing to truth. And that's the meat and potatoes of it. That is the meat and potatoes of it. Vince McMahon might be a scumbag. Very much so. I mean, he can't get away from these allegations. And Vince McMahon should no longer be synonymous with the WWE. Like, right off in the sunset, man. It's over with. You're done. You're done. If Brock Lesnar was to show up at the Royal Rumble, he's not going to get the babyface reception. This news is already out there. Like, you want to watch a woman urinate. That's your turn on. That's your turn on, fam? Bro, you are married to Sable. You are married to Sable. 38 special. Fully loaded. But yet, you want to go see another woman urinate. That's where your head is at. That's what's going on in the streets right now. So, it's just in bad taste for Brock Lesnar just to show up on Royal Rumble, because now, if he was to show up, the fan base that Triple H and Nick Khan brought in because of the direction being changed, it's going to be back to the status quo again. It's like, okay, you really don't care. You just care about the money. And it is what it is at that standpoint. But let us know in the comments, what do you think about Vince McMahon and these allegations that is circling the social media mainstream? And I feel like it's going to go over for the next week or so. And this really tarnishes what Royal Rumble, or what plans they have for Royal Rumble. There's going to be a little black spot on the Royal Rumble on Saturday. I would definitely tell you that. But leave us some comments. Now, in other news, we got some news about Palworld. Now, let me know in the comments what you know about Palworld, because Palworld, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that thing has taken the video game world by storm and sold over 8 million units in the first 6 days of early access and reached 2 million concurrent players on Steam, making it the second highest played game of all time on the platform. Now, for those that do not know about Palworld, I played Palworld a little bit over the past couple of days. I digged it. Don't get me wrong. It's not necessarily for me. And I'm never going to claim to be a Pokemon savant. I'm never going to claim to be that. But it is a open world survival game where you fight and capture pals. And you can use them to build your houses. You can use them to fight other bosses or other pals, to capture other pals. You can do all sorts of things. You can get hungry. You can get cold. You can make weapons. You can make more spears to capture pals. You can do all those things. It is coined Pokemon with guns. Now, that's not a Palworld slogan. That is something us gamers use. Pokemon with guns. That's basically what it is. And a lot of us are calling it the Pokemon clone. Now, the Pokemon fans are upset. Some of them are really pissed. And the Pokemon company finally makes an official statement. And they say that we intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. Now, while Pokemon Company doesn't specifically mention Palworld by name, it is very clear this statement is in response to the incredible success the survival game is experiencing, which is 8 million copies sold. So, this is something that Pokemon fans have been asking for years. For years. An open world survival game where we can go out there and capture Pokemon and do whatever we want out there and link up with our friends and want to be the very best. But we never truly got that. Never truly got that. Here comes Palworld and say, hey, listen, I'm going to raise you. This is not necessarily Pokemon, but there's something similar to it. And you're going to get just as much fun factor out of it as if you were playing Pokemon. Now, truth be told, Palworld was announced in 2021. And the Pokemon company wasn't batting an eye to it. Now that it sold 8 million copies, it's a problem. And we're going to investigate this. Listen, bruh, you should have been done that. Now you should have viewed this as competition at this point. You should see them and raise them. That's what you should do. I mean, let's be for real. Pokemon is not exactly an original thought property. The Pokemon cards, right? Before Pokemon cards, they were Magic the Gathering. Same concept. Now, mind you, is Palworld similar to Pokemon? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you want to talk in the world of plagiarism, maybe. But a complete, and there are certain pals that look similar to Pokemon, but some people get to the point of reaching. And it's like, we got to end this game and everything else in between. Listen, people having fun. Don't ruin it. People having fun. And honestly, honestly, looking at this, I feel like if they were to investigate, if they were to do a lawsuit of anything like that, I truly don't think they would actually win that case, because I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's truly enough for a cease and desist on Palworld. Because if Palworld came out and it flopped, nobody would have batted an eye. You know, we would trash this game and everything else in between. But people are having so much fun with it. And it looks scary now on paper, because we might not go back to Pokemon now. There's a danger in the camp. There's a danger in the camp for Pokemon players. So, I mean, to the Pokemon company, I highly encourage you to really reevaluate, because I think you've been nickel and diming the Pokemon fan base for a very long time. And I can't blame it entirely on, you know, the devs that create these Pokemon games. I also blame it on the fan base too, because you continuously buy these games in droves to the point where it's 2K, like NBA 2K numbers. It's like, we're going to make slight changes here and there, but you're going to buy the game anyway. Like a jackass. You're going to buy it again. You're going to buy the game anyway. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only way for these people to make better games is to not buy them. We got to do something different. Let's do something different. Palworld out the gate came out blasting. Yo, this is what you can do. This is open world. Have fun with it. Now, I'm not even going to hold you. I do like the game. It's not enough to keep my attention personally, but you can't argue with 8 million copies sold. You can't argue with 2 million concurrent players playing online. You can't argue that. You can't debate that. This is something that the Pokemon fan base has been asking for a long time. But again, excuse me, I blame both sides. Quit continuously buying mediocrity. That's the best way I can tell you. Because I feel like modern gamers, in a way, they're promoting the business, but also hindering it. Because I refuse to buy NBA 2K every year. I refuse to buy Madden every year. Because it's only slight changes being made. I refuse to buy WWE 2K every year. Yeah, you got some added modes here and there. Yeah, all right, I got you with that. But those yearly games, they depend on you to come back and buy it every time. And if you're going to continuously buy it every year, I'm going to say it too. If I was running the company and you're going to continuously buy it by the thousands and the millions, well, I need to change. I can literally put out the same game and add another year to it, and somebody's going to buy it. Add a small tweak, a little tweak. You're going to spend $70 on that Joker. $60. Might get the deluxe edition. $100. Easy. Money in my pocket. You got to be wary of that stuff. You got to be leery of that stuff. So, the best I could tell for the Pokemon fan base and for the Pokemon company is do better. Put out a game similar to that or better. Just simply do better. Now, in other news, I'm going to tell you right now, I am very, very excited about this. And this is about Cobra Commander. Image Comics and Skybound has partnered up, and they have G.I. Joe and Transformer properties. And they are doing this crossover event, the Energon series. And yesterday, I bought Cobra Commander #1. And as a CBR, after another red hot release as part of its new Energon universe made up of Hasbro properties, Skybound Entertainment and Image Comics have announced that Cobra Commander #1 has sold out at the distributor level and will be rushed to a second printing. Now, the new printing of Cobra Commander #1 will be the comic book stores on February 21st, 2024. The issue was written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by Andrea Milana. This is the second Williamson G.I. Joe related #1 to go on the second print as Williamson's Duke #1 with art by Tom Riley and Jordi Belair has also made it to a second printing. I read Cobra Commander #1. This is not your 80s G.I. Joe. This is not your 80s Transformers. They're killing people. Cobra, like the first 3 pages of Cobra Commander #1, Cobra Commander killed someone in the snow. And killed him in the worst way. Blood splattered everywhere. And took his car. You get to learn about the origins of Cobra Commander. Know about this Cobra La. Because this is before it was Cobra. So you see his origins. And on top of all that, you see Megatron as his hostage, as his captain. So it's crazy. But is Megatron doing it on purpose? Or did he actually get caught by Cobra Commander? But Cobra Commander #1, I bought the variant cover and I bought the A cover. I'm telling you right now, Cobra Commander #1 is really, really, really good. And I hope they incorporate that in some capacity to the movies or series. Now, speaking of the Transformers series, now Transformers Skybound Image and Hasbro release new Energon Universe trailer. Now, just give me one quick second. I will actually show you guys this trailer in just a few minutes. All right, this is the trailer for Energon. I don't know about y'all, but I'm actually really excited about this. And looking at this comic is really gruesome. It's not for kids. Please do not take your do not have your kids read that comic and like, oh my God, Megatron is actually killing people, squeezing people to death. Yeah, you know, that's what's happening. That's what's going on right now. That's what's hot in the streets. So go to your nearest comic book store and pick up Cobra Commander #1, Duke #1, and Transformers #1. Now, Cobra Commander may be sold out, but again, like I said in the announcements, they will have a new second printing of Cobra Commander 2. Now, our last bit of news, Thundercats #1 is set to release next month. And it has staggering numbers. And we talking like 6-digit numbers. We're talking 170,000 copies already being pre-ordered right now. And not to mention that Rob Liefeld is drawing the variant cover for Thundercats #1. Now, I'm not I'm not claiming to be a number one Thundercats fan, but I'm definitely getting that Rob Liefeld printing of Thundercats number 1. So you might want to go to your nearest comic book store, pre-order Thundercats number 1, get Cobra Commander number 1, Transformers number 1, and also Duke number 1. Now, also another number 1 comic that you definitely need to go check out, and it's from Marvel. It is Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna have a bitch of a time finding that, because it's on eBay right now. The regular cover is on eBay, and it's over $100 right now. So it went from a $5.99 comic to over $100 comic. Now, that right there is something, because I was able to get the 2 variant covers and the main cover for Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, I got the very last cover in the comic book store. Ultimate Spider-Man number 2 is set to release next month. Also, Ultimate Black Panther number 1 will be released next month in February, as well as Ultimate X-Men. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man is written by Jonathan Hickman. And thank you, Ella Lee. She says she's excited about the upcoming releases. So, yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man is written by Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman has been known for writing New Avengers, and the House of X and Powers of X, the current X-Men storyline that is going on right now with the mutants living on their own island. We talking Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, the X-Men, X-Force, and everybody else in between have their own governing body. That is Jonathan Hickman, and he is the one writing Ultimate Spider-Man. And I have read Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. You can definitely pick it up on digital through Kindle. If you go on Kindle and you buy Ultimate Spider-Man on Amazon, you can actually read it like that. So if you don't have a physical copy of Ultimate Spider-Man, you can definitely check it out. A lot of elements in Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, really, really good. Loving the storyline so far. It is setting the tone. Not a whole lot of action, but there's a lot of surprising elements in there as well. And Mayhemmer says, give me that Black Panther. Yes. Yes, and she also says, Kindle, bet. Yes, Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Ultimate X-Men. That Ultimate series is really, 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 really good. If you want to backtrack a little bit, you go to Ultimate Invasion. The Ultimate Invasion storyline is really good, and that's what I'm currently reading right now. And I'm also reading Fantastic Four, that is written by Jonathan Hickman himself, and that was a very lengthy run. So I'm actually kind of having a good time reading that Fantastic Four run, because Ultimate Invasion, the bad guy is Reed Richards. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And Reed Richards is the smartest man in the Marvel universe. So what do you do when you go up against the smartest man in the Marvel universe? Yeah, see, Mayhemmer is shocked. I'm sorry, what? Yes, go ahead and read Ultimate Invasion. Now, also shout out to Comics Explained. If you're trying to catch up on some stuff, go ahead and go on Comics Explained. It's a YouTube channel, and he explains like all the current happenings in comics, all the past happenings in comics, from Spawn to Hulk to Wolverine, Superman to Justice League, the whole 9. But that is our show for tonight, for our live nerd talk. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and we'll be back for the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. So until next time, y'all, peace.